The next of Augustus's potential successors we're going to look at are his grandsons, Gaius and Lucius. So the key questions to answer are, number 1, who were Gaius and Lucius and how were they related to Augustus? Number 2, how did Augustus promote them as potential successors? And number 3, when did they die and what were the circumstances surrounding this? Okay, so Gaius and Lucius, they are a product of the marriage between Julia, the daughter of Augustus, and Agrippa, his best friend. And there was a bit of an age gap between the two because Agrippa was the same age as Augustus. But they ended up having 3 sons together as well as 2 daughters. So the oldest was Gaius, who was born in 20 BC, then Lucius, born in 17 BC, and finally Agrippa Posthumus, who was born in 12 BC, and he's named Posthumus because he was born after the death of his father. If something's posthumous, it happens after death. In 17 BC, so right after Lucius was born, he and Gaius were both adopted by Augustus. And while they were still very young, Agrippa his place was to act as a regent for the two of them. So as we'll see in the next video, Agrippa operated as a sort of colleague of Augustus, and he shared tribunicia potestas, that tribunician power as well, for a while. So he had power which was virtually the same as Augustus, so he could take over if anything happened to him until his sons were old enough to rule. So as with Marcellus, Augustus made sure that his sons were, or his successors, were seen in the public eye. So they were given this title, Princeps Juventutis. You'll recognise Princeps as sort of chief or first citizen, and Juventutis is youth. So first of the youth, or first leaders of the youth. And this is an honorary title. It doesn't really mean anything, but it sort of links into Augustus's title as Princeps Senatus. So they're kind of the leaders of the next generation. The boys were very, very popular, so popular in fact that the people wanted Gaius to be consul in 6 BC, but he was only sort of 14 at this time, so as you can imagine that would be a really bad idea. So in response, Augustus made him consul designate for AD 1, so he said that in 1 AD he would be the consul, and the same for Lucius in AD 4. So Gaius did become consul in that year at the age of 21, which is half the age that you're supposed to be. Remember, you're supposed to be 42, so these guys are getting younger and younger. And Augustus also made Gaius a pontifex and Lucius an augur. So they were given these religious sort of political offices as well to raise their profile, and linking into his wish to bring back religion and morality to Rome. However, there are a few problems with these boys, and the main one being that Julia was later exiled for her immoral behaviour, as we'll find out. And so this raised the question, were the sons actually legitimate? Were they Agrippa's boys or were they someone else's? And if we're going by the Livia killed everyone theory, that could be one reason why they were sort of got rid of. But each of them was sent overseas sort of prior to their consulship. And so Lucius died in Spain in AD 2, and then Gaius died from wounds when he was fighting against the Parthians in 4 AD. And Agrippa Posthumus was the only surviving son of Agrippa, but he was considered unfit and a bit mad, a black sheep of the family, and so he was exiled in AD 7. And so we'll have a think about why that might have happened. So key questions to take notes on. Who were Gaius and Lucius and how were they related to Augustus? How did Augustus promote them as potential successors? And when did they die and what were the circumstances surrounding this? So make sure you've got all these notes and we'll discuss them in class.